Hello again, everybody. Well, this time I actually did not wreck it. That's intentional. I rolled it up on its side so I could get to where what I thought was a thermostat, but it's not. But so I get that little piece off of the bottom of it and find the hose and all that. So let me show you what I got going on here. We're starting back in on this thing. Okay, just makes it a little easier to get to everything. And wanting to inspect this bushing up here, which is where we're getting all of our slack, right in here somehow. Either this bushing or there's one back in here. We get rid of all the pine needles. I may just pressure wash it here in just a little bit. But this actually, I thought this would be a thermostat because it kind of looks like a thermostat housing, but it's actually the water pump apparently. So that's interesting. I took this off and just so I had something to reference to make sure I got the right size hose. And I do believe this is the size of hose that I need. So that'll work. It just has to go from here over to right there. So I also was wanting to make sure the thermostat was opening and stuff. Well, I can't do that because I don't know where the thermostat would be on it, if it even has one. This is just a water pump. So what I'm going to do, of course the gasket fell apart. I've got some gasket maker, so I'm going to use that to, of course, make a gasket and put this back together. We'll stick our hose back on and go from there. I've also got a couple of other things to put on. Got a new solenoid and I got a key switch. We'll probably have this thing starting and running on a key and cooling here in just a little while. Okay, so I got my little housing here. I've got it pretty much scraped off. And some water pump and thermostat housing gasket maker. So I guess that'll make a gasket for a water pump. I'm just going to put it around. Those two are actually what holds it on. Got studs on the top of it. I suppose those are the ones anyway. Okay, I don't want to tighten it all the way down yet. I want to tighten it down loosely. Okay, I'll let that cure for a while. And let's get the hose ready. Okay, it has to come from here to there. My clamps. Okay, here's this hose. Wow. That's a good tight fit. I guess that's good. Yeah, be close enough. Okay, I maybe have bought about twice as much hose as I needed, but never know. We can use that for about anything. Okay, so while this is curing, we can go ahead and replace this. Okay. Okay, and I just ended up getting a generic little solenoid. So this one only has the one connection, so it has to have a ground on the frame. End of this. That's one that goes straight to the starter. We don't need the little plastic piece anymore. Maybe I can just mount it something like that. That way, if I ever do need to get to it again, I can. To hold this on, I just shoot it in there with a couple of self-tappers. Yes, I've been watching too much Pole Barn Garage. There we go. There we go. That's kind of tore off of there, so. Well, these are probably not going to work very well. But, okay. So now, for this other side, it has a piece for a spade connector, so that should work pretty well. Okay, so what we got here, I have hooked up the wiring running from here, traced out some wires and just used different wires going back and forth up to the ignition switch. Now I mounted the ignition switch with, this is actually a piece of metal that you stick a stud in and nail to something. I can't remember even what it's for, but it's for like holding wood to other wood. So yeah, it makes a pretty good key switch holder. I just drilled a hole, stuck the key switch in there, hooked it up, and now turn it on, and then just like that. Okay, so got your first position is of course on, and then when you twist it, it starts up. and it starts really good too. But in order to run the power to the ignition, I had to use a relay, because that's not just 12 volts coming out of there. That is the pulsed signal of the magneto, and then this is your pulse signal to the coil. So I had to run it through a relay, so it just starts and runs. It just applies voltage to the relay, turns it on. The other wire is just the starter, and it goes to my new starter solenoid right here. And in here, of course, you saw me hook up the line. I now have tightened all these up and added water. And yes, I put water instead of antifreeze in it, and it has ran back down, but it has water in it. It has water also in the tank right here. Might be able to see a little bit of that. But it does start up real good. I'm still using my little jump pack. But I was going to see about hot wiring this this fan motor right here. But the fan motor apparently is bad, because I have hooked this directly up to 12 volts right here on this, and it will not run. So that motor is bad. So I'm going to have to get another fan for the radiator. But now it is working, because I started it, let it run just a little bit, and this hose is warm. So it is circulating water. It does work. So now we have a cooling system minus the fan. We have an ignition system and a start system. And once again, I mean, that is a pretty darn good startup. Okay, so I've got it all running. It's I think it may need some fresh gas, may just need to run a little while. But one thing, I don't want to run it real long because of, once again, overheating issues. I've got that little fan motor that is apparently no good. I'll probably pull the fan off and just tinker around with it, see if I can do anything with it. If not, I'll just order another one. I had to order some back brakes, and I actually borrowed the ones off the Hawk to see if it would work, and the back brakes still work. It just needs new shoes. So I'm going to order some of those and order a fan. So we have everything wired up as far as the engine goes anyway. It will start, run, it'll hold water now, moves around under its own power, and it stops. So that is most of it. Now we just got a few more things to take care of, and it will be running and driving. Then we're going to start working on the steering, because running and driving is great, but it doesn't mean much if you can't steer it, which it is very, very hard to steer. So yeah, we have to get that taken care of. But anyway, I think today I've got a little bit done. I didn't film all of it. I just kind of jumped in and out, but I'll walk you back through what all I did, and we'll call it a day, I guess. Okay, so if you remember how the brakes work, it's just that master cylinder, which is the scooter master cylinder, which used to go up on the handlebars. I just have a wire attached up to here. Now I do have a master cylinder that I can mount here. That's when I get my front brakes too. But for right now that will work. I also have a wire tied to the throttle so that when you push throttle, it pulls the cable, and that it works. It once again, that needs redone, and probably I have to get a longer cable to go back. But for experimentation, that works. Now the key switch, as y'all have already seen, it is a lawnmower key switch, and that is on, and that is start and off. So it also, on the back of here, it has positions for an accessory. It is I think this one down here is for accessory, and now that one, when you turn it on, this one turns off while it's cranking. So in the crank position it turns off. So for cranking the engine, it gets rid of unwanted loads. So I'm going to have to run a wire from this to my new fan that I get, actually back to the fuse box, so I can power. Yeah, it kind of overheated a while ago and threw water all over the place, so yeah, I had to let off of it. But the carburetor, I think, might need taken off and cleaned. I've did the old revving it up and capping my hand over it a few times. It seems to have made it better. It may just be the bad gas, the old gas, that just needs ran through. Probably the most responsible thing would be to dump out the old gas and just put all new gas in it, but you know. Okay, and I took the pressure washer that I've got over here, and I actually used that spraying through the radiator to cool it down while I was running it. So some of that might be what this is too. But I know it did start spraying out of the radiator cap. So yeah, it did overheat. But anyway, like I said, I got the brakes back on. Back here. They're back where they're supposed to be. And it does have a flat again. I think that is probably because of the valve stem. It is actually the original valve stem, and it's pretty old. So yeah, I'd say that's it. But anyway, yeah, the thing is coming along. It seems to work pretty well. Now, in the next video, we will probably be cutting all this off and redoing all that so that I'll have actual real steering, so I can actually turn the front wheels without taking every ounce of strength that I've got to turn it. That's not a good thing. That has it running, and it has it able to be driven. I drove it around the yard some. Not running great, but I think it's the bad gas. But hey, it is on its way to getting back on the road. Anyway, I guess that's going to be about it for this video. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.